Hey everybody, B Temple here again, and coming back to you today with a new ration review. And we've got a special one here today, one that, as I know of, as of now, has not been reviewed on YouTube yet. So it's kind of a special, rare ration. We hate to use the word rare sometimes; it gets used an awful lot, but that just seems to be, the best way to describe this ration. Also, would like to point out that. Finally have a new phone, which means I have a new camera. So the audio, especially audio quality of the videos reviews from this point on should be a lot better than they were before, and hopefully the video quality is going to be even a little bit better as well. So for those of you who watched previous ration reviews, maybe if you listen to them on headphones, you were getting some sort of weird background static and all that kind of stuff. That was due to a microphone problem on my old phone that I just, couldn't get fixed. But now I've got a new phone, and everything should be a lot better from this point on. So, what do we have here today? We've got a menu number 1 RCIR, otherwise known as a French Individual Reheatable Combat Ration, or a Ration de Combat Individuel Réchauffable. But instead of a regular menu number 1, which most people would usually see without pork written across it, and usually would come with an ostrich entree, or whenever they switch the menus up, sometimes it's kebabs. But this one is actually a halal ration, which you don't see very often. I've never seen another one ever actually to purchase on eBay or anywhere like that, and I've never seen a review of an actual halal RCIR before. So I got this one accidentally. I had originally ordered a menu number 1 ostrich entree from a seller on eBay quite some time ago, and took a long time for the package to finally arrive, and when it did, it ended up being this. That's why the box is open. I kind of just haphazardly kind of opened it up and looked inside and thought, this doesn't seem right, and then realized that the description the seller had given was wrong. They had been saying they were going to actually sell the ostrich entree, RCIR menu number 1, but then they sent this one instead, which I guess wasn't too bad when I complained, and they gave it to me for free, basically refunded me for the problem. So here it is as an actual rare ration that I ended up getting due to some problems. Halal, of course, for those of you who do not know, is a dietary restriction for people who follow the Muslim faith. The word itself in Arabic means permissible, which sort of acts as the counter to the word haram, which is prohibited. So by halal, we mean food that would be found within this would be permissible to the dietary restrictions of Muslims, people who follow Islam. And many of those dietary restrictions are fairly similar to what you would find, say, for kosher, for Jewish people. So it would be people aren't allowed to technically eat any pork products. You cannot eat anything that would be considered carrion. You can also not eat anything that has a great deal of blood within it. And there are a few other restrictions as well. And of course, also going along with it would be the way that the animal is actually slaughtered or processed. And I know there can be some problems sometimes with talking about halal. Some other reviewers have done this, and sometimes they get a little flack for it, but this is nothing political, nothing religious, anything like that. It just happens to be a rare ration, and an interesting one at that. So first of all, what do we have? We've got a menu number 1, obviously, and we've got our menu list here in French and our menu list here in English. This was packaged actually the 6th of March 2015 and is supposed to expire the 6th of October 2018. So let's go through it first. We'll do the unboxing and then go through breakfast, and that'll be our part 1 of this review, and then we'll do the rest of it afterwards. So what do we have? We've got, first of all, an MX3 Extreme Chocolate Muesli. It's a, doesn't say what size the package is. Oh, 100 grams. So it's a nice, good portion of chocolate muesli. We've also got a package of curry soup. Should be interesting. We have an isotonic drink, sort of green citrus. These isotonic drinks with RCIRs usually aren't known for being amazing, so I guess we'll see how that turns out. Got ourselves a packet of Plum Jam. I've had these with various other rations. UK ORPs, some other rations that are from Europe, and that jam is fantastic. We did have a accessory packet, and once again, in my haphazard way, I opened it up first. So what came in it was 2 packets of freeze-dried coffee, 2 packets of sugar, 2 packs of pepper, 2 packs of salt. Got ourselves a yellow label Lipton tea, a Lipton green tea Orient, and a packet of hot cocoa. And what else do we have? We've got just a regular packet of tissues, napkins. We have a tin of fondue cheese, processed cheese. And we have a tin of sardines in extra virgin olive oil. I've never actually eaten sardines before. I'm not a huge, seafood fan, so this will be interesting to see how this actually goes. We got a big packet of biscuits, and here in this packet, made by St. George, is 4 bags of salted biscuits, and each pack actually has 2 biscuits each, as you can see here. And we also have 4 packets of sweet cereal biscuits. We've got a bunch of little snack and dessert items here. We've got a fruit nougat bar. Got a 64% dark chocolate bar. We've got ourselves a little raspberry jelly bar. We've got 2 commando bars. We have a coffee flavor and a red fruit. Also, we have our stove kit, Esbit stove kit. And inside this, we have some fuel tablets, 1 pack. And the second pack. We've got a little tiny fold-up spork spoon, a small packet of matches with the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe on it, a trash refuse bag, and the foldable stove. So you would end up actually folding this up to make it look like it is here on the packet. And then there's also a handle that you would fold up to use on the mains for putting it over the fire and getting it off easily. So we'll put those things back. And lastly, we have our 2 mains. And only one of these mains is considered halal. This main here is not considered halal. It's just tuna with potatoes. And other vegetables as well. As you can see from the picture, it looks like there's zucchini and peppers and whatnot. And as we can see in the ingredients, there's also onions, tomato, a few things like that, oregano, pepper, basil, salt, So looks like it should be a pretty good main. You can probably eat this either cold or warmed up. So be interesting to see which one is the good way to do it. And lastly, we have our actual halal main. So as you can see, it's even written here. Qualification halal, beef lasagna. And oddly enough, even though this is a French ration, this is a main that's actually packaged in Italy. And you can see from the ingredient list, is actually, I guess fairly normal, I suppose is the way to put it. A lot of the ingredients are actually just standard ingredients. We've got tomato sauce, we've got beef, which I believe that is sunflower oil, onions, carrots, celery, salt, basil, pepper, garlic, lasagna noodles, that sort of thing. So it's not a whole lot of those long, drawn out, chemical names and preservatives and whatnot. So it should be actually a fairly good meal. So 300 grams, nice sizable portion as well, as was the tuna and potatoes. So yeah, this is your entire menu number 1, Halal RCIR. What we're going to do now is figure out what the breakfast portion of the meal is going to be, sort of lay that out, and then get that prepared. So we'll be back in 1 second. All right, everyone. Back again now with what we're going to have for our breakfast portion of this review. So I'm not going to use the little tiny foldable spoon spork thing, so I just got a US MRE spoon that should work out okay for eating the muesli. What we're going to have is, of course, our chocolate muesli, our little raspberry jelly bar. Both are salted and sweet cereal biscuits, tried out with the Plum Jam and also the Fondue Cheese, and then we'll mix up some of the Lipton Yellow Label tea. So, first of all, I forgot to mention, going through the actual unboxing itself, for, I guess, the reasoning behind having halal rations for certain countries' militaries. Of course, France, for a very long time, had a large overseas colonies, especially in Africa, and several countries in Africa, primarily Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, would have had, of course, a large Muslim population, and thus there would be many troops in the actual, French military who would be of the Muslim faith. Also, of course, the French Foreign Legion, I'm sure, would have a great number of Muslim troops as well. So they're, because of their dietary restrictions, of course, they need to have particular food that they can eat. So, of course, the military would accommodate them in such a way. So that's the reason why we have halal rations. Not every country has halal rations, but a majority of the major militaries would have them. So what are we going to do first? Let's open up our muesli and get that started. So some people would either mix this with hot water or cold water. I'm going to do this one with cold water today, I think. Doesn't want to open very easily. So as you can see, lots of chocolate pieces. It's got milk powder in there, oats, all that kind of thing. So once we add some water to that, that should actually make this a nice milky kind of thing. So I'm gonna have to get some water for that. Now it says to mix this with 125 mils of either hot or cold water. So that would be about a half a cup. I'm gonna add some cold water to this, sort of eyeball it. And give this a little mix. Should we get at the dry spots down in the corners? Can probably use actually another little tiny drop. Then we'll fold this up and let this sit for a few minutes. Let it sort of soften up a little bit. In the meantime, let's mix up our tea now. So it's just a standard Yellow Label Lipton tea. And we'll just get some water from the Keurig for that. That's the easiest way to do this. So we've got our water for our tea. We're going to let that steep for a little while. Next, I guess we can just sort of tear the top off of our jam packet. And we can open up our fruit jelly. So remember, this is a raspberry fruit jelly. Feels like it sort of has like a crystallized sugar kind of coating on the outside. We'll see. And there it is, yeah. It's a very deep, dark red color. It has an amazingly strong raspberry smell to it. So also when you try to bend it, you can see all that crystallized sugar. Should be good. Open up our fondue cheese. Be interesting to see sort of the color of this. If it'll be more like a, you know, a cheddar or a white cheese or something like that. I mean, I know it's going to be sort of a processed kind of look. That's what it's supposed to be. There it is. It's a little bit more runny looking than I had anticipated, but it's almost got like a cream kind of hue to it. You know, a little bit of sort of beige, that kind of color. It's got a very strong cheese smell. Not overpowering, but you know, it's obviously a strong cheese. It's not like some sort of, you know, mild cheddar kind of thing. Next, we'll just open up our biscuit packets. Remember, this is the cereal, and this is the salted. So you can see the slight difference in the grain. The salted just seems like a regular kind of cracker, where the cereal one obviously has, you know, a bit more hearty sort of ingredients in it. So they seem fairly hearty, but they snap fairly easily. Very crunchy. They smell fantastic. Yeah, this has sort of like just a regular kind of buttery cracker kind of smell to it. This has almost a granola graham cracker kind of mix kind of smell, so it's really pleasant. So, what else we have left to do? So we'll give our tea a bit of a stir. Seems to be darkening up a nice bit. We can check on our muesli. Seems to have reconstituted well. Let's pour this out. A lot of this appears to not want to come out its own, so we'll have to scrape the insides. So here we have our chocolate muesli. By using cold water, of course, the chocolate chips have remained intact. If I had used hot water, no doubt these would have melted very quickly, and then the milky sort of base we have here would become basically chocolate milk. But otherwise, because we use cold water, they are intact. So get a nice look at that there. It smells amazing, and hopefully it's going to taste just as good as it looks. And that is fantastic, using the cold water. The chocolate chips actually have a nice snap to them, so you have these sort of mushy kind of coarse, you know, mushy yet coarse texture of the oats here. And then you have the crunch that comes through with the chocolate chips. If I'd use hot water, of course, like I said, it would have melted, so it's a completely different experience having this with cold water as what I assume would be compared to hot water. And the chocolate itself is not a sweet milk chocolate according to the ingredients list. It's a 60% cocoa chocolate, so it's fairly bittersweet. You know, not quite dark, but leaning more towards dark than milk. And it's a fantastic flavor combination. Get another look at that. Just for the sake of trying it, let's see what a little bit of this tastes like. You put some of the plum jam on there. We have it. It's just we'll use it. See, it's got a nice deep amber kind of color to it. That jam's really nice, but oddly enough, I think because of the nature of it being a chocolate muesli as opposed to being a fruit and seed muesli, the plum jam doesn't particularly add to it. It's sweet enough on its own with the fact the chocolate's in there. And you don't really need the sort of fruity taste you get from the plum. Like I said, if the muesli had been a different type, probably Probably would add to it a lot more. Not saying it's bad, it's delicious, but at the same time, it doesn't add anything to the muesli itself. So let's try out our biscuits just on their own first, just a little bite, and then we'll use the spreads. So remember, this is our sweet cereal biscuit. It's interesting. It's almost got like a, I don't know how to put it, but almost like a citrus note to it. I don't know if that's not supposed to be like that, but it's sweet. Got that little bit of graham cracker kind of feel to it and taste. But yeah, it's a little bit of a strange kind of, different note that we're getting, and I don't know why that would be the case, but it is delicious. Let's try it with a little bit of jam on it, see what that does. They go really well together. The plum jam is sweet, but yet still has a little bit of tartness to it. Mix that with the, cereal flavor of the cracker, or the biscuit, whatever you want to call it. It's a really, really great combination. Let's just try it out now with the fondue cheese. As you can see, it spreads very easily. It's very soft. Get a little better look at that. That is an amazingly tasty cheese spread. It tastes natural. It's not like some sort of USMRE cheese spread, which, vaguely resembles cheese. That's amazingly tasty. It's got a deep flavor to it. It's nice and creamy. It spreads well. It's not too strong, but yet, not too mild. It's that perfect middle ground, I guess is the best way to put it. Let's try out our Lipton Yellow Label tea, sort of cleanse palate a little bit. As you can see, it's gotten a fair bit darker, but it's not like a really dark black tea. I'm not someone who adds cream or sugar or anything like that to my tea. Just drink it straight up as it is. And it's a nice tea. It's really mild, really light. It doesn't hit you over the head. It's not bitter in any way, shape, or form. It's a a nice mild English breakfasty kind of tea. Orange pekoe, that kind of thing. So nothing offensive, nothing strong. Just sort of a very mild, easy drinking tea, I guess is the best way to put it. So you tried the cereal crackers. Next, let's give it the salted crackers a try, first on their own. Now, you couldn't get any different when it comes to how these two crackers are. This is a bit lighter. It's very buttery. I don't know if they use shortening or something like that in it, but it has that very buttery kind of flavor to it. And I'd be interested to see how it contrasts with this jam, see what the difference is between this and the cereal biscuits. If I had to pick one, I'd say I think that the jam goes better with the salted biscuit than it does with the cereal biscuit. You wouldn't think that would happen. You'd think this would be the one that would probably go better with plum jam, but the nice tartness, sweetness of this is a lovely contrast to the buttery flavor of the salted biscuit. Now, the other thing to see is how it'll go with our fondue cheese. Once again, you can see how easy this spreads. Oh wow, that's amazing. I gotta go back and get some more of that. This is the best cheese product in any ration I've ever had. And I've had some good stuff and I've had some really, really bad stuff. But this one is by far the best I've ever had. Oh, those salted biscuits mixed with that is just amazing. I just got to go back and get more. This is great. This is breakfast time right now, so I'm hungry anyway. It's probably lending to it, but this combination is just absolutely perfect. The butteriness of the cracker mixed with the sort of creamy texture of the cheese, and it being a moderate sort of strength kind of cheese, they just go together like nothing I've ever had before. Have a bit more of our tea. I actually think it tastes a little bit better now, maybe after I've had all the food and it still continues to steep. It's better, but that was a nice compliment actually to the crackers and cheese that I just had. So all we have left, guys, we literally only have one thing left. It's just to try our raspberry fruit jelly. So So once again, remember, it's just like a jelly bar. A lot of crystal sugar on the outside. Let's give it a try. And that's lovely. The jelly's not too soft. It's got a nice bit of give to it, I guess is the best way to put it. That coarse sugar coating on the outside gives a nice sort of, I guess, contrast. You get the crunch and then the chew. And it's a really strong raspberry flavor. And not a particularly artificial raspberry flavor. It has a bit more of a natural raspberry taste to it. It'd be interesting to see how much actual like raspberry essence or whatever they might use in the production of it. But that's a nice complement to everything. You know, try to have a light breakfast. The other two meals will be probably a bit more protein dense and whatnot. But this is just a light start to the day kind of breakfast. So, you know, we got our chocolate muesli, and I'm gonna finish that off very quickly after I'm finished, and the cheese spread as well, because that's just fantastic. I'll just use some crackers from the cupboard or something or whatever to finish that off. So guys, this has been the part number 1 of our menu number 1 Halal RCIR French ration review. So I'd like to thank you for stopping by and giving it a watch. Look forward to, hopefully, as quick as possible, getting part 2 filmed and then back out again. So once again, thanks a lot for stopping by. Have a good one.